Starting the podcast.
Adventure Guys! Adventure Guys! Now it's time for Adventure Guys!
All right, welcome to Adventure Guys, the podcast for humans and dogs. I'm Eric the Human.
I'm Nick the Human. Eric, I just gained your voice while you were talking.
Great, that's so professional of you. Thank you, Nick.
Well, you didn't check it properly, dude. I'm tired of this. These fucking amateurs don't know how to use a mic and they come in here. What up?
Joining us today.
Oh, I'm Nick the Human.
What?
I'm Nick the Human.
Did you ever say that?
No, I don't know. I was too busy with the gain and wait, what were you gonna say?
Joining us today, returning to the pod.
Oh, we introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna.
You have that privilege to introduce yourself.
I didn't know all that, so I'm sorry. It's Steve the dog.
And I'm Karole the human.
Yes.
Hey, welcome back. And I think this is our very first two-guest special episode.
Ooh,
Yeah. At pod headquarters.
Yeah. Well, like regular styley episode. Like we've had call-in episodes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. God bless you if you called in or listened to that. Oh, you guys both called in though, I think, on that. Carol did. You were the
100th episode? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I was in that.
Maybe we didn't get you on
We
that
definitely
one.
hit you up, but probably just it was real. We made no planning. We just started calling people.
It's hard to be a dog and talk on the phone at the same time.
Yeah,
If I'm
it
being real
is.
about it.
How are y'all doing? You guys played some music together, everyone except me, on Friday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good show. We played at Otto's Shrunken Head, and I remember I had a first successful plug for a show because we timed our episodes correctly, and I actually edited them in recent weeks. We're back on a schedule, I think, maybe.
A little bit.
Hey.
So that show happened, and it was fun.
I know Ringo's gonna be happy. That's one of our listeners that was pissed off that we've been behind schedule.
Ringo.
Ringo,
Yeah, he sent us an email.
really nice. We love Ringo. I mean, he was calling us on some bullshit that we needed to be called out on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's good to get a little, Yeah,
you need a little
smack
slap.
around,
Yeah, I don't know if y'all noticed, but we really our schedule got really fucked up, and it sort of happened right around a time when we decided not to do an Adventure Time episode, but rather review Beau is Afraid.
Yes, I didn't watch that, but I love the Ari Aster movies.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
you gotta watch it.
Oh, I know. I'm just when it comes along by streaming.
Yeah,
streaming capabilities.
it was something. To
Barkflix.
spare Ringo, we won't talk about it anymore. But
Oh, he didn't like that.
well, the
They
fact
didn't like
was
that.
I was up for like a month with no other content, and it was definitely our worst episode ever. The quality also dipped without the regularity. So I'm glad to have you guys back because both of the episodes, all the episodes you've been on, have been top tier for
Yeah.
us. So this is good. This is good energy that's coming in. Thank you for coming. It's also sunny. August 13th. It's like a good summer
October
ass day.
13th. You just Freudian slipped something.
I did. Friday the 13th.
Yeah, we're not going to reveal the full weight of
Well, there
what
is
that
going to be
means,
an
but-
Now,
October 13th this
unrelated,
year. Yeah.
before the podcast started, we got to hear a little bit of Eric's new album.
Ooh, baby,
Yep,
did we hear it?
tested out the masters on a new set of speakers, and it sounded okay, I think.
A couple more tweaks to come.
A little bit.
Yeah.
bit.
So it's good music. Go to the Patreon. I'm plugging for you.
Yep.
Come to another show.
By the time this episode airs, the album will be on my Patreon for all patrons.
Oh, wow, that quick?
Yeah, well, it'll be done as soon as Allie sends me her guest vocal track,
Yeah.
which is possibly happening in
As
real
we-
time
yeah.
as we speak.
Yeah.
There's a few other features on it, which is
In South Slope,
Somewhere.
how
in
many
South
miles
Slope.
away? Like it is. Like my album is being recorded right now.
5?
so sick.
It's not even 5 miles, is it?
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things we could talk about right now. We could plug a little bit Stop the Presses stuff. Great band. If you're listening at this point, you should just know who Stop the Presses is because it's like a sister brother project to the pod at this point.
Yeah.
Our friends. Go check that out. What was there were multiple topics of conversation that were bust as you guys came in that we were like, no, we got to save it for the pod.
Oh God.
I saw the Barbie movie. We were talking about Carol's job at farmers markets.
Oh, those chocolates.
Other podcasts, the H3 podcast. What do we want to talk about? Anything else? Anything else?
Anything but adventures.
This is a forum, this podcast. So
Should we,
I'm
like,
also going to open it up to you if there's anything, if anyone's wronged you and you just want a place to,
Just want to air beef.
yes, that can be on the pod.
Jim Tobelson, I got beef.
Oh, shit. Is that a real name?
I think it's a name from Beerfest when Landfill gets upset. Because I think Jim Tobelson is like the one who tells on him for drinking beer on the job.
Oh, man, I was talking about Beer Fest the other day. Someone was like, I've never seen that movie. And I was like, that was just like a staple for me
It's a
in high
good
school.
film.
Excellent. Yeah.
Same with
It's very funny.
same with Super Troopers.
Troopers 2 was great. Mm-hmm. I love the second one. It was very funny.
Wow.
Will Sasso is like a French-Canadian cop. This is just incredibly funny to me.
He's funny. All right. Well, I think we'll get off track well and good as the pod goes on. Why don't we just start talking about the episode of Adventure Time?
And just naturally get off track.
Yeah, I think that's better than me. I was forcing it. You can't force these things. We just got to go off track naturally.
Episode discussion.
Okay, we watched season 3, episode 9, Fionna and Cake, which, if you are following along with the podcast, is not what we said we would do last week.
No, it's not. But in
Remix.
major news, which we discussed on our recent episodes, is that the Fionna and Cake spinoff series is coming to Max very soon, August 31st.
Yeah, that's like, what, 2.5 weeks?
2.5 weeks. Gosh, it's
Thursday premiere date?
I think it's something like that. Yeah. So
Yes.
we're going to go, when that comes out, we want to cover it. So we were like, Eric wisely was like, let's like pregame a little bit. Let's warm it up a little and get this done, get ready to watch this new series. Which has been
sneak into the algorithm, just like
Which is real subtle.
in 2.5 weeks when Fionna and Cake drops. This might be our most recently edited episode at the top of our feed, and we'll be ready to go. And then we'll get like 1 million new subscribers, and we will be financially independent off of this podcast, and all of our dreams
It's
will
a
come
wrap
true.
from there, dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't even think about all that.
I'm constantly thinking about it.
Dude.
It's the only thing I think about.
Business development over here. I love it. So we have shrewd reasons for doing this episode as well as just fun. And it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah. Everyone knows the concept. Everything's
Do
flipped.
they?
Everything's flipped. Yeah, Steve, want to?
I don't know if everyone knows. Some
Yeah, lay
people
it out
might
a
just
little
listen
bit
to the
for
pod
them.
and don't even watch the episodes.
They're-
People like that exist.
They
and
do.
That is weird to me. They're like the inversion of what everyone else does, which is like watch the episode and then like listen to the pod. I feel
This
like.
is Steve's beef right now. Is
I
with
got
people
beef.
that just listen to the podcast and not watch the episodes.
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you people?
Explain Fionna and Cake a little bit.
Oh God,
Steve.
it's on me.
Do the host job.
Okay. I mean, it's only like my 4th time. I should be good at being a host now.
Yeah.
So Fionna and Cake is basically a complete like inversion of every character in the Land of Ooh. So Finn is Fionna, Cake is Jake. I think you can see where those come from. C and J, obviously, opposite letters. Almost, because like a C that way and like a J that way, it's like pretty close to being like a mirror image. You just need a little more J.
I think actually the origin of Cake's name comes from Natasha Allegri's cat, Pancake.
Okay.
And Pancake is a known quantity in the Adventure Time like writer's room at this time. And they were just like, if we need to do a cat inversion of Jake, well, Cake makes sense because of an inside joke that they had access to.
It almost already existed.
Yes.
Yeah, and they just kind of...
I think that's the reason.
That's some lore right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, otherwise, like, why? Like,
Because it sounds like Jake.
I know, like, I found that very confusing. I was like,
I didn't read too much into it. I'm like, it sounds like Jake, but it's not. So also, Ice King's writing it, so it's just like fucking whatever.
Well, yeah, the Ice
Right.
King is Ice Queen, and
Yeah.
Princess Bubblegum is Prince Bubblegum, and
What's really interesting about this is, we should talk about the episode, but the big reveal at the end, right, is that it's flipped. You don't coming into this. It's season 3. It's still early, and you're just kind of like, what's going on? Why are the characters flipped? This is so weird.
Yeah, just mid-season, just a random
And
flipperoo.
then the reveal at the end is that this is all fan fiction written by Ice King. Now, which is a very funny idea. What I was gonna say is that if you go back through the episode, now that we're starting to talk about it, all knowing that Ice King wrote it, it's like kind of confusing, and you start to have a lot of questions. And like, if he's fully in control of this, why did he choose some of these things to happen? Why? It's almost like so because Ice Queen behaves the same way Ice King behaves, which is terribly and
trying to kidnap princesses.
Yeah, and all
Bubble
this stuff, and so it's like if Ice King's writing this, he knows that what he's doing is very off-putting to
Still
everyone
making himself
and
the
not
antagonist.
working.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Yeah, he made himself the antagonist. It's like, why did you do that?
And also still the loser of the episode.
Yeah,
Like, still
yes,
gets
exactly.
defeated at the end.
It would have made way more sense if he won. I mean, I don't know.
Well, isn't it? Don't they say it's like every actor wants to play the villain though? That's like the more fun role. Right?
It is.
Yeah. So I can
It
see
is.
that being.
By the way, fuck you, Eric.
What?
Fuck you. I'm the villain. This podcast is over.
See, isn't that fun?
God damn it. Yeah. No, I don't know. I felt kind of bad. You didn't understand what I was doing. I had to I couldn't go too deep into that character because it was like
Yes,
off-putting.
Nick, you're the best ever. Ah.
I want to fuck Nick. That's what Fionna says at the end about Ice King.
More or less, yeah.
It's kind of tough to like actually view this through Ice King's
It
perspective, because I mean his perspective is just so fucked up, and we know that in general, like he's an unreliable narrator, like in every context. Like every time he shows up, he's just like he's lying to himself constantly throughout the series. So this is weird. There is one neat little detail that I don't think would have appeared if it wasn't like definitely through Ice King's perspective, but he there's like that one moment where Fionna knocks the crown off, and then Cake picks it up and has like ice powers, like
For a hot sec,
yeah, and then Fiona's like, yo, cut that shit out, like you'll catch her crazy.
Very self-aware of Ice
Yeah,
King.
Right. Well, right. Yeah. Ice King definitely like knows all this shit about himself and his relationship to the crown, but like he's still like unable to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also at that point in the series the only person that does know those things. So it's cool that like that
They
detail
slipped it
comes
in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this becomes an extremely heavy like Ice King lore episode, like undercover.
Yes.
Because
like,
I mean, like throughout the series, we see like all the back in time with Simon, right? Is his the old, and like how he starts to become crazy and everything, and it's always like he's always kind of back there, like in the back of the brain, like prisoner of his own like self. So it's kind of like his subconscious almost crying out, like I know I'm the bad guy and I'm trying to like do something, but I can't because I'm crazy.
It's really so. This is the first time this information is revealed.
I believe so.
That's crazy. I love it.
When was the Simon and Marcy episode? Not till season 5, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they figured it out, and we're like, we'll slip it in
Beautiful.
here. Really great. So anyway, let's go back to the start of the app, which is you at least get the cool title sequence. Steve, you
The whole inverted title, or I guess, I mean, could you say gender inverted?
Gender
Sex?
flipped, I think, is
Gender
how they
flipped? Yeah.
say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just every character is like an opposite take. Like LSP, when they go to like a little party later, has a little mustache, just like a little pencil mustache
That's
drawn
really
on,
good.
which is
Voice is
incredible.
definitely the same, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. It would be the same.
Yeah, I mean, LSP did not have, or Lumpy Space Prince, I guess, did not have lines in this episode, but in Bad Little Boy, I'm pretty sure the character does, and it is just exactly the same Pendleton Ward voice.
There is an episode though that LSP writes fan fiction of Fionna and Cake, and the voice is like a weird. She has Ice King read the fan fiction, and she makes him do like this weird Tim Curry, like British kind of sounding voice for
I don't remember
for Lumpy
that.
Space Prince. Yeah, it's the one where a later episode as you guys continue to explore the the Fionna and Cake
It's not
universe.
like the Christmas one where they're like going through the tapes and stuff. Is it?
No, it's the one where Lumpy Space Prince comes to Ooh and experiences, is meeting Fionna and Cake, and
Okay.
it's like a romance fan fiction for Lumpy Space Prince, basically.
Well, I guess stay tuned for that episode in the next month or year or decade.
Or
somewhere.
whenever, hopefully, we get like the LSP series. Because everyone loves LSP.
Especially you two.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Pendleton Ward would not want to come back to an LSP centered series.
Anything's possible. I mean, we've talked about this with the Fionna and Cake spinoff, which is so exciting, is that like the universe can just kind of keep going at whatever pace they want with whatever characters they want. It seems like we're all going to be up for it. If they do more Distant Lands, there could be an LSP Distant Lands.
Oh, okay.
Eric doesn't seem thrilled about this idea.
I love it. I know he hates it.
Yeah, I don't want that, but whatever.
I have an LSP off mic remark that was Eric to discuss later.
Oh yeah.
But I can't discuss it on air right now. Is that fun as a listener to hear things like that?
Oh, let's do a visual gag too.
Did you see the mail at gmail.com? You can roast me there. I really liked in the gender flipped was cinnamon bun in a dress.
That was nice. Yeah.
I really like that. I don't know why. I just love cinnamon bun as it keeps going. I like these confounding and just stupid characters. He's sweet too.
There's a connection, like as we're putting the episode on, there was like Game of Thrones in like the thing, and I think about like the world because I'm like a big Game of Thrones guy, and just like how big and like unending the world happens to be in like Adventure Time, and every character has this like whole story, like the root beer floats, like stories that you get, or like cinnamon bun, and they might sprinkle in like a touch in the beginning, and then like 10 seasons in, you're like, I've had all these like encounters with this one character, and then you get like a story on it. It's like, oh, this incredible like weaving structure that was set in place, like the whole Ice King myth that we don't get for like another couple of seasons. It's incredibly woven structure.
I love it.
So intricate.
I love when they do that. Like The Simpsons does that.
Oh yeah,
pretty masterfully. Yeah. I always thought that was one of my favorite parts, like Parks and Rec. How much you guys like that show? You might not.
Not that I didn't like it. I just never really watched those shows.
I fuck with Parks and Rec.
Is there Parks and Rec lore?
Well, no, in that they richly build out the world and town of Pawnee.
Oh, okay.
And so you get these like micro characters there's only like 5-6 seasons of that show, but by the end of it you hit it. I always go on a rant that it's just so much better than The Office. I think The Office is quite overrated.
No complaints from me on that one.
100%. I'll agree with that.
Better than
and
The
I always
Office.
think about it, and this is why I always think about it, because I always think about the way they built out the world in that show. That's when that concept really hit for me, because I was like, why do I like this so much more than The Office? And I think it's because ultimately every character in The Office is flawed beyond the point of like redemption for me. Like by the end of it, I'm like, I really don't like a single character that was ever on this show, and like they're no, like by the
play that hot take theme
by the
song,
end.
baby.
That's why I'm always pretty I'm always pretty. See how we're getting off track, and I talk about this frequently. I probably talked about it in the podcast before, but we're 117 episodes deep. It doesn't matter. But my Office, that's my Office take. Like, you guys have watched all The Office?
No,
you haven't.
Yeah, I've seen all of it.
By the end, like it just went on for too long, and if it didn't, I mean, I'd welcome takes here on this, but Jim sucks, Pam sucks, Michael sucks, Angela, Stanley's terrible. Like literally all of them suck, and they like explained too much of Dwight to the point where it's like not fun anymore. Like, he's like the sad, weird autistic guy at the office that's been getting bullied, and then like you see his home life, and like it's not easy. It's like you know what I mean? Like when he was the Enigma, it was kind of fun, and then by the time you like see his whole family and he's kind of desperate.
You don't show the monster in the first act.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, and like I don't know. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I got you.
Yeah.
The mystery is almost always better than the reveal.
Yeah. So that show went off to Parks and Rec. By the end of it, it's pretty fun.
I like Craig Robinson in The Office.
Yeah, he's probably one of the only good ones.
Yeah, he was. Well, I don't think
even just independent of The Office, he's like the most enjoyable person probably out of that show.
Right.
To me.
It seemed like he was always the most aggravated. His character was always the most aggravated with everyone else, rightfully so.
Yeah.
He has a
Like-
great like I'm stewing underneath kind of thing, just like
Yeah.
looking at you. and just
like-
I
being
guess
this
they did
motherfucker.
bring in the Ed Helms character, and they gave him a redemption arc. So by the end, you're kind of like, all right, I kind of like Andy and Ellie Kemper. You're like, okay, but like I feel like they invented them. I guess in Michael, he gets a nice
to fill
ending.
that Steve Carell hole.
Yeah, and just like the Jim and Pam shit just tanked, and I don't know. I don't
No
know.
one likes
I
an
don't-
office romance.
No, I don't like him personally.
No one-
I don't know him personally. I'm sure he's cool, but I always felt personally attacked by the John Krasinski flip of, he took the. I'm just on my pedestal. Right
What?
now. I don't like John Krasinski.
What's the flip?
The flip is that, come the mid 2000s, fellas like
Are you talking about the hair flip?
no. We'll get there.
It's like, I had a flip in like 5th grade. Yeah,
He did. Well, he
I remember
does
that.
change his hairstyle as the show goes on, and rightfully so.
to show the passage of time. I like that.
Yeah. Here's my
Like putting on a hat.
here's my thing. And this is it's really personal. It's not really even about John Krasinski. It's more about me.
More about you. Yeah.
We can get serious.
But as the early 2000s come on, dudes like me started to have a foothold in the world. I really think that Trailblazer would be Seth Cohen from the OC. And as Seth Cohen comes into consciousness and starts talking about Death Cab and bagging the hot girls at school, it's a viable lane for dudes now. And I think you started to get people like that within pop culture, and you have your Michael Cera's, you have your kind of like nerdy whatever dudes, and by the time The Office comes, that's the lane that John Krasinski's going. He's your everyman. He's a little nerdy. He's a little bit timid. Like, he's not ambitious, but like he's still kind of a leader. And he's, that's like, he's right in that mold.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, I can relate to this guy. We all can. We all get in those feelings. And as the show goes on, you're like, I don't know. And then, I mean, really what is as the show ends, and then now he's like a fucking jacked superhero. You're like, I knew you were never one of us.
Oh,
You
yeah.
were just putting on the goddamn
the Pratt
costume.
move, right? Yeah.
I don't like that. That shit piss. I'm like,
You hate posers.
yes.
Yeah. Who doesn't
That's
hate a
what
poser?
it is. Now I know that he's
Okay.
acting, and that's the definition of posers act. That's why my logic is flawed about this.
Okay, but John Krasinski is a poser. That's what this comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, now
I think so.
he's a poser because he's not actually Jim, and now you'd be right to say that was a role that he was cast in, and that no, he's not actually the character he plays. Fine, but that's like I always, I don't know. Like when you see Jack Black, that guy's the fucking real deal,
Yeah.
right?
He's really Bowser.
He's-
when you boil it down, he truly is
Exactly.
Bowser.
He's Bowser. Do you guys have any of these relationships where you see an actor and then the dissonance between the character they played and then who they are pisses you off? Or you have a healthy
know.
understanding of how this works?
I mean, there are plenty of actors that just like distract me from the role.
Okay.
Like, a ton of times where
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't see it. Like, it's getting that way with Margot Robbie, where I'm just like, there's not that many of you in the world.
Yeah. So Barbie works
know.
for her because
Yeah, like that's, and like the Harley Quinn, and I'm like, all right, cool. Those are like the cartoons that, or whatever, that you can like be based on. But when she's like in other roles, I'm just like, oh, you're supposed to be this like down on your luck, like crackhead with Will Smith, or like con artist. I'm like,
now. Okay, so now we're getting to a similar. It's like that's Margot Robbie. That's not a crack. That's
Yeah.
fucking. That's fucking the whatever. Same thing with the fucking dude from Chuck. That piece of shit.
Chuck.
Zach Levi.
Oh, is he Shazam?
Shazam?
Yeah, or the
Yeah.
Flash, whatever the fuck he was. He's all jacked, and you're like, yeah, you're not the nerdy repair guy who's working at Best Buy. God, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. There's a gentle verisimilitude or whatever between like knowing like, oh, that's Brad Pitt, and then like being like, yeah, but it kind of got whisked away into the stuntman or the crazy imagination of Ed
Yeah, I
Norton.
don't know why Brad Pitt's cool with me.
Or like Christopher Walken. There's so many people that like
I'm cool,
you
Brad
see
Pitt.
them before the
true.
role, but then it's okay.
Yeah.
And like, why is it?
Yeah.
What's the?
Also, he wasn't anti-vax like Zach Levi.
He's an anti.
He was?
Like he's against
should Google that before just saying
vaccinations, or He doesn't believe in
I
them.
saw
I feel like those are two different things.
a Twitter take that was that should not be repeated on a podcast because it's just so inane bullshit. But it weirdly made sense to me in a way that I don't like. Woody Harrelson is apparently supporting Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign, and the guy from Eve 6, who is just like all over fucking Twitter, has an opinion about it.
I would choke on a rind, but the lack thereof would leave me empty inside.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
And he was like, you know what? This actually doesn't make me mad because I expect actors to be dumb fucking idiots. It's like being an actor is something that you have to like have unfiltered emotive ability to just like be like so in touch with your feelings, and thinking will just get in the way. So he expects good actors to just be fucking dumbasses because they're the only thing they're good at is using their feelings and not their brains at all. And he totally like de-intellectualizes the process of acting. And he was just like, yeah, actors are fucking stupid. Like, obviously, this is fine. Like, he can do stupid shit. He's a good actor. This all makes sense.
That's the societal trade-off that we made.
Yeah.
That does make sense to me. I mean, look, you could do both. You could be an actor and not be a dumbass, but that does explain some of these things. Yeah. All right. Are you gonna keep that in the pod?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. I feel bad. I don't like putting negativity out. I mean, Zach Levi did say some anti-vax shit, and I you know, John Krasinski does seem like a nice guy, and he's raised money for charity, I should say. So, I don't know. I feel bad with my
his Quiet Things movies were A Quiet Space or whatever. What was that called?
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place. They were good.
Yeah, and I didn't see it because of all this pent-up aggression.
I mean, can I spoil it that in a way that might make you more receptive?
Yeah,
the first movie
he dies.
Like about
Yes, so John Krasinski fucking kicks the bucket, and then they do a whole other movie where he's dead.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's probably the better movie.
Very, very interesting. Karole, you're good with all your actor.
I mean, you know, it's not easy out there. You're being judged out in the public, and
it's true. That's why I feel like a piece of shit now. I don't feel good having said all that.
This seems more like an office beef than like an overall actor beef.
Okay, I welcome that.
Yeah, and that's okay. I accept that.
For me, or did you have?
No,
office
I
beef?
don't have beef with The Office, though I do like Parks and Rec more than The Office.
Yeah, I mean, part of what's hard about I think also The Office is that it's just become this cultural institution.
Too much.
Yeah,
it's like outrageous.
Yeah. It became people's personalities. Like, oh, I just have it on all the time.
Have you watched Rami Youssef's show?
I want to.
No, I watched his stand-up though. He was pretty funny.
I like his stand-up. His show is funny. There's a bit in the recent season where his friend is on a date with someone who is obsessed with The Office.
That's great.
And they're like, this seems like a red flag, right? Like, and the only thing she can talk about is The Office.
Yeah, I've had multiple roommates, I believe, that watched it every night as they went to bed. Which to me too, it's also like it's not a comforting show to me. It's like operating in that like cringy space. So it seems like that wouldn't put me to bed necessarily. But I guess there's something. I think a lot of people are doing that. It's the most popular show. It was the most popular show on Netflix and everything.
It feels like the punchline is always like mugging to camera, and that's like not something I could see going to bed to.
Yeah.
I don't like that they sort of established that as a trope. And if you've watched Abbott Elementary at all, like they do way too much of that shit. Just like,
well, it became like a genre unto itself.
Do you
think that sort of like faux documentary format, like it's not as prevalent anymore? I guess I haven't seen Abbott Elementary. That's a very popular show right now.
Yeah.
But I guess there's not like it was just so many of those. Modern Family and Parks and Rec and like
the Christopher Guest movies probably do it the best.
Oh yeah. But there's less of it now, right? Like I'm trying to think of like the other like The Bear is in that, or like I'm trying to think of other popular shows.
There's documentary now, which is like Bill Hader and Fred Armisen's one that was pretty good.
I haven't watched that, but
the Blue Jean Committee episode where it's like the Eagles kind of mockumentary is
the Great Gardens fantastic. One is good too. Yeah. Well, we can go back to Adventure Time.
See, we naturally sidetracked. See.
I guess. Thanks for indulging me.
No, I'm here for the anti-Office and Krasinski takes.
I mean, I loved The Office. By the way, when that show came out, I was like, I watched every episode weekly for like the first 3-4
Whoa.
seasons. I watched the premiere at home.
Famously could not get into it. I tried watching it 3 separate times. I watched the pilot 3 times. Like, why do people like this? This is boring as fuck.
Well, it's hard to judge something just off a pilot. That's usually not.
I know, but like I hated it so much I couldn't even get to the episode 2. And then I forget when I watched the whole series on Netflix, but it was like I really don't have anything else to do. Maybe I can make it to the second episode.
Well,
And
yeah,
I pushed myself.
the first season's a little slow. I mean, the second season of The Office is pretty tremendous. Like that is a beautiful season of television.
Okay.
Have you watched much of it, Steve?
Not really.
Yeah. Season 2 is really spectacular and is like I think is marvelous. And then season 3, it's like, and then it kind of that's what I remember. It's been a while since I watched it.
I would say your Krasinski feelings are probably echoed by my like Steve Carell feelings. Where I'm just
Interesting. Okay, I want to hear more about
thank you.
this. You're not just
Steve thinks Steve Carell is a poser. Explain.
well, not so much a poser. He's just
this. I'm interested.
like
in.
always trying way too hard. Like 40-year-old version is fine because it's like okay, it's like the Steve Carell character.
I like
and
that
then he
movie.
kind of does like that same awkward energy throughout like everything, even in like Little Miss Sunshine, where he's supposed to be like a depressed, like suicidal. He still has that kind of like meek energy. Kind of.
Have you watched The Morning Show?
No.
Have you watched The Morning Show?
I haven't.
I know I've talked to you about this. Okay, The Morning Show is a great show because Jennifer Aniston is a golden goddess.
Truth.
Yeah, but Steve Carell's in it, and he's good. He plays a very unlikable character.
Oh yeah, this was interesting. That tell him about this character. I found this.
He's already unlikable.
Whoa, he's playing into that part of himself.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse though. This is interesting.
It's a complex character because Steve Carell traditionally is placed into a very likable role, and like right off the bat he's a sexual predator. And
See, I get that vibe from him just in general.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
very prescient of you, I guess. But yeah, they sort of pit his personality against the viewer and like sort of challenge you to like not be on his side in that show.
So I'm already there. Yeah.
Yeah, but Jennifer Aniston is fucking great. I love her. I've expressed this opinion to Nick before, but I feel like Kaylee Cuoco is the millennial Jennifer Aniston,
Okay.
and I love both of them very much.
I think that's when you laid that on me the first time, I was like, I don't know, but as time's gone on, I can really see that.
Right? Like both came to stardom through a sitcom where they vastly outshine their co-stars.
Yes.
And sitcoms that overstayed their welcome for sure, and then went on to become huge stars without
huge stars.
the burden of that sitcom.
Right, but now the one of the quandaries of the Jennifer Aniston thing is that she never had a movie that super hit. Like she never had a Julia Roberts moment where she ascended. She was in movies. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it was,
Sure.
like, they would be good,
Yeah.
but they never like were like these smash
Yeah, she
cultural
didn't have her
zeitgeists.
like Erin Brockovich or
No,
whatever. Yeah.
but she was always around, and Kaylee Cuoco's having a little bit of that as well. Because Friends, was and Big Bang
Another
Theory, they
show.
were the show.
all these shows just not for me. And I think there's
Friends,
there's
dude.
this through line there. I think.
Yeah. I get that. You know what I always thought about? It's always been hard for me as well. You're talking about Steve Carell, Ed Helms, super likable. Both. I think there is like a daily. I love the Daily Show,
Yeah.
and I think that energy that Carell and Colbert and Ed Helms had on the Daily Show worked, but they kind of like maintained a bit of that, and as Steve Carell's gone on, and sometimes it doesn't always work. Ed Helms, the hard part for me was always like he was doing a little bit of Jack Black in his thing, and I was always like, dude, like that's Jack Black's thing.
Yeah, he always does that sort of
He's always
shit.
doing this like funny singing shit, and I'm like,
Stay in your lane.
well, I'm just like,
Well, in the Hangover movies, it's like a song in like every movie where
He does.
He's like on the piano in one. He's
well,
like
and it
playing
is
a
part of
guitar
it, and
in
he's allowed to
another.
do it. But yeah, it was really the rick-a-goo. He like literally does that in The Office, and I'm like, dude, like I don't know. I'm like that is just like
I think
Jack
Rigagoogoo
Black.
is a Jack Black trademark.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's
yeah.
in Tenacious D shit.
Yeah.
And And then he calls him a douchebag. That was like the big line, and which is cool. But I'm like, to me, if I'm Jack Black, I'm a little bit pissed when I see that because that guy just came up with that's gold, and now someone else is just kind of doing it.
Yeah, and Jack Black just hands that out for free though. He gives you Peaches, he gives you Bowser,
Oh,
he
yeah,
gives
yeah.
you School of Rock, he gives you Tenacious D. It's just
I know,
effortless
but
for him.
Ed Helms is like he plays banjo and like he inspired by
Steve
Martin,
yeah.
and I know he like really does it and like will tour and do full show band. So I'm like, I'm not slagging him on that, and he seems legitimately nice and has good taste and stuff. It's just that thing always bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
What was that little bluegrass band that they put together with was Jason Bateman involved and maybe Will Forte and you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Love Will Forte though.
Oh, me too.
He does some voices in Adventure Time, right?
I don't know.
He must.
Oh, the Lonesome Trio: Ed Helms, Ian Riggs, Jacob Ty Love. So I don't know them. But he seems cool. Ed Helms also produced the Auntie Donna show. I love that show. He's cool. Man, I just gotta stop talking shit. We should gotta talk about the things we like.
Like this episode of Adventure Time.
Yeah. So there's lots of cool stuff that happened in this episode. What was some of the other cool stuff?
I don't know. My first note is from the second I saw the Ice Queen, the idea of a character like an Ice Witch just works way better to me. Like obviously like the Ice King we have like all the experience with, but just the concept of like an Ice Witch.
Well, I think that's the trope, and which is why Adventure Time was like kind of fun in the first place because they inverted that.
Yeah.
But you know, like Frozen and like
Sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I guess you can like bitches are icy.
Oh.
yeah. I mean, like they
Right?
call her Ice Queen, which is
Frigid.
like the thing that people.
You're a frigid bitch.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of already in like my consciousness.
I'm looking at you, Eric.
He's the villain again.
I am. Right, but that's like a thing people say.
Yeah, which
Not me.
is why it was good that Adventure Time didn't do that, which would have been like a stupid, easy kind of cliche. And now that like they lean right into it, like I guess with this episode, but it's I don't know. The character of Ice Queen doesn't really. It's kind of weird. Like there's no development there, right? It is like a stand-in for Ice King himself, but we don't know much about her.
She wants to kidnap princes. Let's go. Real Ice King energy.
Truly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean she pulls out that like slush monster or whatever.
Oh, that's a fun one. Yeah.
That was like kind of scary and good, and I was like, I guess sometimes Ice King really pulls out like a pretty good use of his powers, but that was
a fun
interesting.
one. I did find it odd when like ice fell from the ceiling that Ice Queen like dove away from it and didn't want to. She was like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "You're
You're
Ice
ice.
Queen. You should be totally fine with that." I thought that was like an interesting thing at the end there.
Question, this is unrelated. Cake. So Cake.
Yes.
Cake can do lots of things. Cake is a very enjoyable character.
Yeah.
They really nailed the like another take on the Jake energy.
Yes.
But did Cake do anything stretchy in the episode?
She gets big when they're like going for their stroll together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking later. I was thinking at the end of the
Yeah.
episode, I was like, oh, there was no real Jake stretchy stuff happen. I was like, do they have the same powers?
Slightly different energy because she like does like the morning star thing, so she like spikes
yeah.
out,
Oh, yeah.
right? And the tail is like constantly like fuzzing out.
Right. Yeah, I forget if she does anything like that in the other episodes, or I don't know. I feel like there's like it's not exactly the same Jake rules,
Yeah.
but it's similar in some way. I don't know.
In the Bad Little Boy episode, you get a little bit more of the powers, I think, from Cake, but we don't really get a good view into it in this episode.
Maybe we will find out in the series.
Hey.
Oh, that'll be fun. This is what we've talked about. I mean, it's going to be so weird in this series because it's like the whole thing going to be an Ice King fanfic. Like it doesn't appear that way from the trailer.
No.
You watched the trailer?
I watched the trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer yet. No.
Yeah. We watched it on air the other day. We could just do it again.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll pull.
Visual gags. Here we go, Steve.
Yes.
That's what you asked for.
Yeah.
I love when podcasts are visual mediums.
Yeah,
Right,
we watch
but-
we watch a lot of YouTube on this podcast.
Yeah, I've really instituted that as part of the podcast.
It's good. It's a perfect way to, relate with an audience. I find.
We all love YouTube. Here we go.
All right, Fionna and Geek.
Put my mic here.
BMO, little alarm clock.
Kate's been acting really weird lately. What if she's just bored with everything and wishes the world was more magical? It should be more magical.
So now is it her imagination? So she is a real character? That looked like Simon again. What are they doing? Prisma.
Life was supposed to be magic.
Yeah. So my prediction is that Prismo sort of finds a bridge between the
Yeah, I saw that Prismo thing at the end and it
yeah,
got me going.
like whatever reality this Fionna and Cake are from and the mainline Adventure Time universe, and Simon is somehow involved in
you
connecting
see
it.
regular Ice King Simon in that
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
This,
so
this
it's
show
not.
just,
I don't think it's the same fan fiction characters. It's a better version of
it's a
them.
different pickle universe.
It's a more
from Prisma.
self-actualized version, not an Ice King fantasy version.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Ooh, man.
I'm excited now. It gives me something to be excited. I haven't been excited about something in a little bit.
Just a little more in-depth lore, and yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, I had some other notes from the ep. I liked, yeah. So it's instead of Princess Bubblegum, it's Prince Gumball.
Yeah.
Oh, Gumball, that's right.
Yeah,
Neil Patrick Harris.
that was Neil Patrick Harris.
Ooh, MPH.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Epic.
And he sings a song.
Totally can hear it now, though.
Oh, Fionna.
That I have it.
When Holophonics were on tour last year, we played in Denver with Tape Girl, and she covered that Oh Fionna song.
That's fun.
Yeah, the dulcimer payoff to like that a whole new world
Yep.
moment
Yes.
is pretty great. Because when I mean, in the beginning of the episode, or towards the beginning of the episode, Fionna thinks she's going on a date with the Prince Gumball. She comes back to the treehouse and she's like, "Cake, I'm going on a date." And they're getting ready to go out. And then as they're going out, Cake's like, "Let me grab my dulcimer." It's a conversation starter.
I love that Cake plays the dulcimer because Jake plays the viola, and like both of these are just like inconvenient jam instruments.
But then perfectly placed, like the payoff on
Yeah.
Monochromicorn. Was that it?
Is that
The mostly
yeah.
all black unicorn inversion of Lady Rainicorn. It sounds so perfect with the song. It's like they almost like did that backwards.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, this is like a perfect thing to have Cake play."
Yeah.
Thing.
That was really good. Okay. Speaking of Neil Patrick Harris, now I said I'm through talking shit on actors.
Oh.
So I would
we're
like to
back.
do another visual gag here that I can invite the listeners in. This is a gag that came to me on TikTok, which I use a lot. If you got your phone or your iPad
For what?
for the gag. So nothing against Neil Patrick Harris, but this is what's been going around on TikTok. They said you should just Google Neil Patrick Harris cake.
Oh yeah, that's a shitty thing he did.
Yeah. Have you seen this?
What happened?
Yeah,
I just found this on TikTok the other day.
Neil Patrick Harris Cake. Man, there were already Google results that relate to this, and yet now it's a shitty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like. I forget what his reasoning was, but it was fucking stupid.
Would you like to see?
Yeah. What?
Here you go. And scroll through
Oof,
this.
tossing phones
I know. I have no regard.
in the studio. Photo of Neil Patrick Harris, sick. Amy Winehouse, corpse cake resurface.
What?
Corpse cake.
Yeah, Halloween 2011 when we were all having an edgy good time.
What? The corpse of Amy Wine. So he had a cake.
No.
Died 3 months before Halloween. That might be a little soon.
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris. That's
Do we get to see the cake though?
Yeah, keep going. It's in there.
I gotta see.
Oh, Neil.
That's. I mean, it's a well done cake.
I know.
I didn't really know Amy Winehouse like while she was current, and like discovering her since she passed, like with all of her ska shit and everything is like awesome. But I got the sense that like people really didn't like her, and like while she was doing it, and like she got a lot of shit from men probably, I guess, and so I don't really know what like. The vibe was in 2011.
There's a doc that just came out the other year that I do want to watch. Called it. I mean, her first. I think that there was like a lot of mythology going because her first single that she blew up on was Rehab, and it's like, "Tell me to go to rehab." I say no, 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 and I think there was like.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of the discussion was like that she was just like constantly on drugs or something. Like she was, yeah. So.
And probably not helpful. We can dive into that. But it does actually really make you like reflect on what we all thought was kind of funny in 2011, especially like the late 2000s. There was a lot like this isn't the only one, but I've thought about other like videos and things that I watched that now you think about it, you're like, that's like just totally tasteless. But like back then, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of
I need another example.
a lot of really edgy jokes.
Or even just the views on things like also on TikTok, I saw something about like the rehash of Britney Spears in 2008 VMA performance, and everybody was calling her fat in the performance. And of course she's not fat. Of course she just looks like a normal person, but just like what our view on fat phobia and
she's never even like
body
been
image.
remotely close to like overweight.
Not at all. And I was just like, oh shit. I remember thinking like Britney looks terrible at that moment in time, and that's a really shitty thing because she didn't. She was just fucking dealing with something.
Yeah. No, we're not there as a society yet, but sometimes if you do look back a little bit, you do see like, oh, that wouldn't fly now, and you're like, okay, I guess that's some sort of cultural progress of some sorts.
Ooh, actually, even on this subject, I had a note about just like the drawing of Fiona. I thought was really nice because she's not like Finn is like a pretty rail thin like looking individual, but Fiona's like the legs and arms and everything, her hips is just like a thicker, wider, like not like a Barbie kind of like thin plastic situation. I thought that was kind of like a subtle, like nice thing,
But not sexualized.
not sexual, just like not like like another female character where like, oh, she can't have like any like meat on her bones or
Right.
anything
Like how
that.
Princess Bubblegum is just like sticks.
Yeah, not a particularly like large, but just like it wasn't drawn like to be thin. Like
It's like
it
a real
looked-
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know,
They
just-
make cake a little thick too.
Oh,
They do.
about that cake. What's wrong with that cake?
Yeah, same thing with tree trunks. She's got like a lot of meat on that bone,
Oh, she likes that meat
and she
too,
puts
Mr.
it to
Pig.
use. We know this.
We do know this.
She's got her alien children that they don't just come out of thin air.
Mean Mr.
So to
Pig.
say. Yeah. Okay. Any other notes from the app?
So Neil Patrick Harris, also a poser. Great, moving on.
No, he's not a poser.
Hit an interesting turn in the new.
Well, that's
the
okay.
fourth Matrix.
Here's the other
movie too.
example about
Yeah.
what I was saying about cultural humor moving forward and back then is like you think about the Barney Stinson character in How I Met Your Mother and how that would hold up now versus 2005.
Well, can we not have like a bad character?
You can. You definitely can.
Yeah.
I think we've definitely talked about these kinds of sitcoms on this podcast before, but so like
I
here,
love that show.
yeah, here's a throwback to like 3 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Barney Stinson character in particular, I didn't start watching that show when it came on. And I didn't realize that he actually hadn't come out yet when that show started.
Oh.
So I always thought that there was a meta humor to knowing that it was a gay actor playing a womanizer.
Wow, I thought he
And
came
that-
out a
and that
long time
it
ago.
softened that, like, we know it's not serious because like it's Neil Patrick Harris. Come on. But no, I guess that was like an earnest kind of like character
Well,
choice.
you're supposed like he is supposed to be sort of sad and you're laughing at like a womanizer character, but I felt like, I don't know, I guess I'd have to rewatch it, but like in my 19-year-old brain, we weren't always laughing at Barney. We were kind of like laughing with him a bunch of times, but maybe I misunderstood as a toxic young man. I don't know.
Another show I didn't really watch.
Yeah, but you can have bad characters, and you should. It's good to laugh at dumbass shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what we've always talked about with like Always Sunny. That's like why that show
Exactly,
still
yeah.
is awesome.
Because they're all bad characters.
Yeah, I know. What else?
When Cake meets up with Monochromacorn for the first time, and like she's just like staring at him, and Monochromacorn's like just digging the hoof in the dirt, like the bull move.
Great.
And Cake is just like, yes, oh my god, like you can feel the tension.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it was great.
Oh, it was on. That's what it means. It was on.
Do we want to unpack this metaphor a little bit for you?
Okay, so think about Lady Rainicorn. She communicates in Korean, and Jake is like the only person that also speaks Korean, and so like there's always this weird communication barrier with that character, and then so now we get the flipped version of it, and I guess he's nonverbal in some way, but like there's something suggestive about that motion.
It's not like Morse code or something, right? I don't know. It's definitely tap, tap, line, tap, tap.
I think it's kind of just like what is yeah. It's a sexual thing 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
you ever heard like, oh, he fucks like a bull or like anything like that? Like it's a very primal kind of vibe.
I definitely want that in like as the implication, but I also would prefer like that there be some parallel between like the weird communication issues that Lady Rainicorn experiences, and that like the Cake or Jake character is the only one that can understand.
If it is like a Morse code thing, I would love to go back and see like if it's like a dot dot dash dot dot dash and like what kind of letters we get out of that. Because I remember in the limit they put up the flare and it's like butt or whatever it comes up in here. That'd be funny if it was just like a weird like acronym that they make.
Yeah.
Or that Cake picks up on.
Yeah. The vibe was there.
Maybe it's in
there.
I did think about that when they left Fionna and Gumball on the date and then they went off together. I was like,
yeah.
You thought that too? Yeah. Yeah, no.
There was like some Cake winking too. There's a very sassiness about Cake that I think translates to.
Oh yeah, I mean, do you know who voiced Cake?
Roz Ryan.
Who's that?
She does the whale in Flapjack.
Okay. She was great.
It's a great choice for like the flipped John DiMaggio of Jake.
Yeah. I hope she's doing it for the new season.
Yeah, she's got to be.
And who's Fionna?
I don't
Sugar,
remember.
Right? Isn't that Rebecca Sugar?
Who?
Isn't that Sugar? Because she like wrote and directed, I feel like, this episode.
Oh no.
Co-wrote.
Well, yeah. Well, this episode, yeah, but that's not her voice.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
I'm pulling it up.
Rebecca Sugar did the voice of Marceline's mom in the series. That was her only voice acting role. I'm pretty
really?
Sure. Mm-hmm. You get some flashbacks, and in Obsidian also, which you haven't seen.
No.
We keep remarking about how you haven't seen it.
Yep. Should we? Okay. So I do want to talk more about the making of the episode. Before that, did we all see the snail?
Oh, it's so much slower than I'm used to.
Eric, did you see the snail?
Yes, I saw the snail. Steve, did you see the snail?
I think for the first time in pod history, I did not see the snail. Karole, did you see the snail?
I saw the snail. Nick, did you see the snail?
I saw the snail.
Oh, I ruined it for everybody.
It's like the first time I've seen the snail in like, I don't know, a year.
Brutal. I was probably taking notes in the phone and missed it.
It was right away. Like it was like second shot of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I started writing about Ice Queen. I was like, oh my God, I just love the idea of an Ice Witch Queen better, even though like I love the Ice King character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Well, yeah, you ruined it, and I don't have a theme song for 3 out of 4. Well, wait. Yes, I do. Play that 3 out of 4 ain't bad theme song. 3 out of 4.
Ain't bad, but it ain't great.
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, it's really good. Thank you.
3 out of 4 is better than 2 out of 3, though.
It is.
Statistically.
It is. Higher percentage.
But it's not a victory. So
Sure. Well,
Yeah, but you might pass the class with a 3 out of 4.
you don't pass my class.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
Sorry,
Wait, was
Professor.
the snail inverted in any way?
No, he was just normal.
It was upside down, though.
He was upside down. Ooh, good catch. Yeah.
It was inverted. How
Yeah,
about that?
literally.
Or flipped. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. I like when they pay attention to stuff like that.
And I wonder if it was the other side of the snail than we usually see, kind of.
Interesting.
Maybe.
I
Do
don't
we
know.
usually just see one side of the snail?
Well, we don't really
You
know
think
this.
it's facing one direction?
Yeah, I feel like he's always facing one way.
We
This is
don't.
the other way.
I guess we hear the snail being referred to as him in a few episodes. So, I mean, we don't really know if maybe this snail is gender swapped for this episode.
Didn't get there.
It's not like I'm particularly keyed into visual cues of gender expression in snails. So. Could have been.
Gotta brush up on the culture, Eric.
That's interesting to think that BMO kind of like lives in that like fluid area and wasn't really in this episode to be like flipped or anything.
Right.
Bimo was played.
Yes. And
Was
it
Be-
looks like regular BMO.
It
Right,
does.
yeah.
It looked like in the intro too. But now, because Bimo is gender fluid, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah.
So, yeah, it would have been interesting to hear. Maybe we'll see in the series
Yeah. That's
to
interesting.
interact with Bimo.
Oh yeah, the BMO looked like an alarm clock in the trailer. It had the same BMOing.
I think maybe we're gonna see a lot of like gender nonconforming characters in this series because considering that obviously Adventure Time was like totally fine with it, it was still in an era where like having them on screen every shot wasn't quite the norm yet.
Yeah.
And now that it can be, it probably will.
Yeah,
That's my prediction.
that'll be interesting. Let's see. I can't wait to see what we get.
There's,
out of this.
there's so many things I'm sure they can play with on this. That's gonna be, ooh, I'm so excited for it now.
Ah, me too. Okay, we're gonna go to the miscellaneous mania. But first, if you're enjoying the pod, please rate us 5 stars or 100% or whatever the fuck on your podcast app, like our guests have done. Thank you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to support the podcast, anchor.fm/Adventure Guys Podcast. And, I don't know, tell a friend, subscribe, Instagram, I don't know.
My little stars filled in because I gave it
Thank
a
you.
rating on the Spotify.
Yeah, help us in the
Hey.
algo. Let's go to Miscellanea Mania.
Okay.
Oh, is my
Oh, Eric, for should we like, is there a way to flip all the theme songs for this episode and all the Fionna Cake episodes?
Play them in reverse.
change all the major to minor?
No. Ooh. What would
have to
be?
do some intense melodyning to make that happen.
Should you play in reverse, or is that too crazy?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I don't know. You don't have to do that. I don't know how much work that is. It's just an idea that came into my head.
It's like trying to transpose on the fly. Like, oh, this song's actually a whole step different.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, here's reversed Miscellanea Mania.
So we did get some voice actor names.
Storyboarded by Adam Muto and Rebecca Sugar.
Bay.
Sugar Bay. Rebecca Sugar.
This is obviously like a big Rebecca Sugar contribution to the show.
Big one.
I wonder if she's involved in the new series coming out.
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah, right. I don't know if she's involved in anything right now. She hasn't like posted about doing anything. And Ian Jones Cordy also has been pretty reserved about talking about any projects or anything. So
I like that. Don't talk about it. Just be about it.
Don't talk about it. Just be about it.
Amen.
If it's good enough, we'll hear it.
That
Other
is-
people will talk.
That's like the worst advice for podcasters.
What? Don't talk about it, be about it?
Yeah.
All we do is talk. I know. So then does that mean that I have to go out and find John Krasinski and like...
I'm
I don't
ready.
know.
Punch him in the face.
If we
You
could gather
fucking
up him and
poser.
Steve Carell and maybe Timothy
I'm the
Chalamet is
poser.
another guy I want to punch in the face.
Yeah. We're the fake ones, Steve.
I want to get him. Paul is right. Not my Paul.
John
yeah.
Krasinski.
What? You know? What do you think about him? He's kind of hot, right?
He is. Is
he?
He's become more hot since The Office.
The more jacked he's gotten,
Yeah.
the more superhero-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more Jack Ryan-y.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Well, he was also in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, as Mr. Fantastic for like a hot second.
I bet the dude's cool. I'm just insecure.
I don't know. I don't think he's that cool.
Okay, thank you. You got my back, friend.
Is he married to Emily Blunt? Like, that's not cool.
So this is interesting is that
Beef.
the episode was leaked and illegally uploaded to YouTube before the premiere. And this is like a long time ago.
It was like 2011
Damn.
when this episode.
11. Yeah. So like YouTube wasn't even like at its peak. It was still kind of early. I wonder how does a TV show leak? That's crazy, right?
From an inside man.
Yeah, some nefarious person probably had to like. Well, what year was this?
2011.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Went up on the Pirate Bay or something like that.
Yeah, they said there was a screening, but it wasn't related to that. Another episode leaked too, Hot to the Touch. They've had actually it says here there's like a number of episodes. 2012 there were 2 more episodes were leaked. Really interesting. It's like that used to be such a thing. Remember, like albums leaking and like
Yeah, I remember torrents.
it doesn't happen anymore
Oh, really? Right?
because there's just so much shit. You're kind of like, I'll just wait till it comes out.
So I feel with almost every movie nowadays. I'm like, oh, this movie's just going to be in my home for free, ostensibly, in a month. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
I'll
what?
save that $30.
The Maroon 5 album that came out in 2014, I got a leak of that before it was actually released.
Yeah, we used to get leaks all the time.
The Holophonics covered that entire album.
I remember.
And
This is when you had your master plans.
right, we did like 4 cover albums that year, and we were getting back from tour in 2014, and we're like, what's the next biggest pop album to be released? We need to cover it immediately as soon as it comes out in full. And it was like, oh, well, Maroon 5's putting out a record, and then like the next month Taylor Swift is going to put out a record. Let's do the Maroon 5 one. Big mistake. We should have done Taylor Swift. But that Maroon 5 record was like, all right, it's coming out soon. It's like 10 days out. I wonder if I can get a head start on this. And I found a leak. I started working on it before the release date.
Wow.
Head of the curve. Let's go.
I know. Should have been big. They're like that. Yeah, it's like with the one Maroon 5 album that like didn't have like a big hit on it or something.
I know, right? I think
What are the
the
chances?
biggest hit was the 3rd single, Sugar.
Oh yeah.
And by the time that was popping on the radio, our record was already out there. So like then we got a big boost off of that cover, but like it didn't have staying power.
Yeah.
We could have done 1989.
Ooh,
Oh my
big
god.
hits.
Wow.
Dude, imagine
This
you'd be
is
crushing now.
Like a 3-part pod on its own that what could have been. Ugh. But I'll get on my high horse and throw Taylor Swift into the Krasinski Karole.
oh.
Yeah.
You're not alone on that one. Lots of people
Not
don't
for
like
me.
her.
It just becomes too big, and then there's like a whole culture around it
Yeah.
that just becomes like
I don't know where Carol says. Me and Eric do like Taylor Swift.
Sure.
I'm not like a huge fan. But I do like her.
Yeah.
Carol.
I've never intentionally listened to Taylor Swift ever.
I like that.
And I think it was like maybe actually intentional to not listen
Sure.
to Taylor
Yeah.
Swift. But I do think that she's always been authentic and that the things that she does and the music she puts out is authentically her. So I have no beef with that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just think it's not for me.
A lot of people have lots of beef with this woman, especially people in our age group. Like a lot of my female friends are not
Ooh.
into Taylor Swift. Obviously,
like that.
so many are. Like she
Oh,
just
sure,
did the
yeah.
biggest tour of all time.
Yep.
And now she's doing like a second leg of the biggest tour of all time.
Yeah, they said she's gonna break $1 billion
just
gross
And-
revenue. Has
and
like,
polluting the environment like
just
irreparably
squeeze it all
because
out.
Yeah, that
a,
part
did have a
sucks.
tangible impact on the economy. Like is insane. Yeah, I like that she's torchbearer for true songwriting within the popular culture. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I do. There's a lot to unpack here. That Steve, you've got a lot of allies on that.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to stand alone against everybody, though.
All four of us right here. I know.
I'm a dog with strong convictions.
Eric, anything else we want to touch on?
well, we're in Miscellany Mania, right? What else happened with this? Natasha Allegri also sang the intro song instead
intro
of
song,
Pendleton
yeah.
Ward.
Oh, that was cool.
Oh, the out of breath after the race that they had.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was pretty funny.
Dude, I love that you called out that joke.
Yes. Did you remember that joke?
No,
I was
just I always think about that in like movies. Whenever like something happens and like in the next scene, like the hair is flipped the other way or they're like breathing too hard. I'm like, there's no reason for this to be. Oh, okay.
that was great. I remembered the punchline was about to happen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Carol did too.
shit,
Carol
she
was like, It was great. Yeah, Cake and Monochromacorn are like booking it in a race where Prince Gumball and Fiona are riding them, and then they get to the area, and then they're just like, and I'm like, why are they out of breath?
Yeah.
With on the beat, Cake is just like, why are y'all out of breath?
So good. Oh, we didn't say, by the way, the voice of Fiona,
Oh yeah,
Madeline Martin.
That's right.
Martin and Roz Ryan.
Yeah. And apparently Andy Milonakis in one of the episodes stands in, which is
As
which is-
Fiona?
Yeah. But I'm trying to
I'm sorry.
Madeline
what?
Martin. Okay. I don't know much about Madeline. Oh, was on Californication, JoJo's Circus,
Milonakis was Fiona, not just like in Adventure
in
Time?
Mystery Dungeon episode.
Was it Fiona in that episode?
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Hmm.
That's according to the online. Oh, an Imagination Zone in that episode. I don't remember. We just watched that one not too long ago.
Which one?
That's interesting.
Mystery Dungeon. That is a
Oh, yeah.
Ice King constructed bullshit too.
Yeah, that's right. Did y'all catch the Sailor Moon reference with the dress that she was wearing?
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, I can't place where it's from, but
That's
yeah,
it.
it's yep,
that's cute.
yeah.
Damn, this show's great.
I know. I like Sailor Moon.
Me too.
I got called Sailor Moon all the time growing up, as my last name is Sailor.
Oh, wow. Did you like it?
No, not really. I mean, does anyone like any like nicknames they get when they're younger? I feel like you're always
Not unless it's just like Daino. Like it's just your last name.
Yeah, that.
well. As
that
I think
one sucked.
Sailor is already like a.
I know.
You know.
It was there. It would have been fine. Just use that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of other things that people would say that definitely didn't hold up over time.
Sure.
There any nicknames that you didn't like that you used to get called?
Yeah, I probably blocked them out of my head, but
I'm still unpacking that with my therapist. Actually,
yeah. Let's not open that one today.
don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Hey, that's perfect time for it. Did you know there's Did you know that there's a segment now I built around this
Oh,
theme
you
song?
made it a segment.
Yeah. Okay, well, play the theme and let's get into it.
All right.
I love the down the rabbit. I love going down this whole episode, this whole pod. We've just been going down rabbit holes.
I know. I kind of
like.
feel bad. I kind of feel like I took us way off course. Did I do a bad job, Eric?
You did just as well of a job as you usually do, Nick.
It could be a great move of inverting the podcast to like not even talk. Although you've done episodes where you really don't even talk about Adventure Time
Yeah.
too, though. So.
Nobody likes it, but
Oh, people that come to the Adventure Time pod that don't get Adventure Time get upset about it.
Yeah.
I could see that.
But I mean, there are those people that come to the Eric and Nick pod that don't give a fuck, and I appreciate that.
There you go.
Appreciate the lack of fucks given when we talk about Bo Was Afraid.
Or Strange Behavior.
or Strange Behaviors, or Regular Show, which is adjacent enough, I suppose.
Absolutely. Those were definitely, that was like a block on Cartoon Network. It was like Adventure Time, and then Regular Show was like a little bit later, I think.
Just wait till the David Lynch episode, though.
Oh my God. Why are we doing that? I feel like we've been talking about that for years.
I know.
We literally have been.
I think we talked about it the last time I was on the pod.
Yeah.
I love it. I'll talk about Lynch all day long.
All right,
Twin
well,
Peaks me, baby.
Let's go
Let's
down
do
the
it.
rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole.
It's an incredible. You should put out all the themes on like on Spotify.
We
Jason.
do
It
need
wouldn't.
an
It wouldn't
album.
matter because a lot of them are under 30 seconds long, so we wouldn't make any money from it.
But we should still put it out.
No,
All right.
I only do
when-
things
when
that
has it
I
ever
only
been
make
about the
music for
money?
money, Nick.
Obviously, I'm a ska
Bandcamp.
musician. I'm here for
yeah.
the money.
All professional ska musicians got into this for one reason and one reason only: to become millionaires.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Fucking sell
Going
out.
well for us all.
Okay. So Steve, this is actually really awesome because you were the impetus for that
Down the rabbit hole.
theme song being created. It's a great theme song, and we end up talking about going like that. Really seemed like a one-off theme that just took on life. Like we played it a bunch of times because we always go down the rabbit hole, and then once you say it, you got to play it. Do you want to play it again?
A motto. I live my life by. You say it, you gotta play
You gotta
it.
play it. Anyway, I came up with a new segment because I thought we needed it, called Down the Rabbit Hole, which is obviously there's the YouTube rabbit hole, which
Sure.
we all fall down. So the rules of Down the Rabbit Hole are you just type in the title of the episode into YouTube, and then we just watch whatever comes up. And it's actually... I think it's a really fun segment that's given us some really interesting results. Eric, I don't know if you're
Sure is that-
sold. I've made us do this like 7 times now.
This is our third visual gag of
Yeah,
the
right.
episode.
The hat trick.
We've gotten some. We got a really cool song. Gem Apple. Remember that guy
Oh,
Grayson?
Jim Applejohn by
What was his name?
Grayson Gilmore.
Yeah, that was a good song. We watched some witchcraft videos. We've seen some cool shit on here. Now the problem with today's is going to be that it's Fionna and Cake is the name of the episode, right? Which is just going to give us Adventure Time shit. Now we've never. Damn. Oh, here we go. There's a clip, 1 minute of leaked
There it
Fionna
is.
and Cake footage.
There's the leak.
Boom. Now see,
Oh shit!
this is why you go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, leaked of the new.
I think so.
Ooh.
Let's see.
This was posted 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, 11,000 views.
Down the torrent pirate hole.
Major spoiler warning in this podcast. This is just on YouTube.
Yeah. Was that Simon?
Sure looks like it. Ice cream?
What?
That was violent.
Good job, babe.
This is from like a
Is that
con
Finn?
or something?
That's Finn.
That's Finn. Oh,
That's like Finn from the future Finn? That looks
Yeah.
like an old future Finn.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I'm gonna go back and like put in a major spoiler warning in this podcast before we get to this point.
okay.
This is
Is this a Comic-Con? I don't know. First thought, Eric. Why were we not invited to the press screen? Okay.
as the world's premier Adventure Time podcast.
We might be, right?
Yeah.
We're definitely the premier Adventure Time podcast that goes non-linearly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We got to do some shit to get us on the radar. I got to email HBO. I'm telling you.
Get Zaslav on the phone.
I'm trying to see if there's any other good vids. I know we didn't even talk about what we just saw, but
So
here's the-
that
yeah.
does sort of place the timeline a little bit for us.
Does it? None of that makes sense to me.
Oh, here,
'Cause
look.
it's like young Simon,
This is 3 weeks
old
ago.
Finn.
Oh my gosh, that's Finn. See?
Simon kind of becomes immortal.
Or is it Finn?
Look. There they-
Oh gosh,
he's in the promo art.
God, that is Finn, isn't it?
He's in there. That's not real. But
Yeah. Wow.
This only confuses me further and entices me more.
so yeah, at the end of the series, oh yeah, he's right fucking in there. That's
Oh,
like
and
right on
that's a
the
shot
poster.
right from the
The poster.
Who else is in there? I didn't even look at that. We're looking at the promotional poster for.
This has to be like a Prismo, like otherworld thing.
Well, I think that's how. My prediction is that that's how they're bringing Fionna and Cake into it. But like, there is
Hey,
an
look.
anchor into our mainline canon universe.
Look there. Look, that looks like bubble gum or a gumball.
Oh man, adult Finn. Who's gonna
Yeah.
do adult Finn?
Oh, really good question.
I mean, Jeremy Shada is however many years older. Well, did you watch Obsidian?
Is that Distant
Lands? Did you watch
I
Obsidian?
think I watched all
I
of
have
it.
not.
I'm the only one here who's watched Obsidian. I keep talking about it. There is more. Like, okay, there's
No,
another.
that's the Marceline one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
watched that one.
you watched
yeah.
it? Okay, yeah. So the end of that,
Yeah,
you do see.
that's. Oh wow. The timelines are killing my brain now.
Right.
I'm trying to make sense of it, and I
So
can't.
that one's supposedly takes place like
in the future, right?
like,
Yeah, because BMO's like telling like
Yeah.
the story of like everything that happened before, and it's supposed to be like hundreds of years in
no,
the future.
no. The Distant Land special that's like Marceline and Princess Bubblegum.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that's back in the day.
Well, there's a flashback to what they do previously, but the main story of that Distant Land special is after the end of the mainline series. Like that.
Is that not like the ending of the series? Isn't that like BMO like telling the story like in
Yeah,
the future? Okay.
yeah.
Oh God.
Yes, here's a
This
quote.
show.
Here's a quote from the Max, like one of their heads of programming, that they said that like Adventure Time fans have grown up and people are still coming in from the bottom and aging up for like the right show. They said that tonally it's very much Adventure Time, but Fionna is older. She's in the workforce. It's more adult. So I think it's going to bring in new fans. It's also going to serve the fans we already have.
Cool. So she's more like a B character from being Puppy Cat. That makes more sense. Also, Natasha Allegri.
Yeah, interesting. Did some stuff go down with Cartoon Network? It's been coming up in my
They closed their physical headquarters
yeah.
out in California. Like that building was, I guess, iconic for decades or whatever. Where like, I don't know what they did there. But the building's closed and a bunch of shows weren't renewed. They weren't like canceled, but like, yeah, like Craig of the Creek was not renewed. And they kind of just are all like, I guess we got laid off, but there's not like really anything definitive about stuff ending. So there's just like a lot of stuff isn't happening anymore, which is like really weird and passive aggressive.
Yeah, no, I'm reading here about some of that stuff, and found the EVP that is the head of comedy and animation. Maybe we should get her on the podcast.
Call her up.
That'd be interesting. Well, I don't know. I don't know if
Has
it was her call, but more I'd want to know about the development of
If you want cake.
Fionna Cake.
Yeah, I think, well, because we know the process of making animated programming is so time intensive.
Yeah,
Like everything
This
was
has
set
been
in
years.
motion a long time
this
ago.
is they announced this thing well over a year ago.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope this isn't like a one-off season, but it doesn't seem like they're continuing a lot of
I kind
projects.
of thought it would be a one-off season. Like we had the 4 Distant Lands, now we get a season of Fionna and Cake, and then like who knows, something
Some
else.
weird movie maybe in the
Yeah.
future, or like another character that they can go off on. Which is great because it has that big intensive lore and world building where you can just like be like, well, I want to hear the story about like this side now.
Yeah.
We might get a little bit more of this show because it's a proven merchandising opportunity. Like Adventure Time shit was very popular at like, Target.
Yeah.
So
Cole's Hot Topic.
yeah, like not every other show on Cartoon Network had that success where like you can make Craig of the Creek toys, like
No.
Like Steven Universe had like a nice
Yeah.
run. I feel like I saw a lot of that.
yeah, a little bit.
Not as much as Adventure Time.
Yeah, that was like rare. Like that there was a show that they could cash in on so much, and I think maybe the merchandising success of Adventure Time is probably what contributed to like a lot of the artistic freedom they afforded the writers.
Because it worked.
Yeah, they were just like, whatever you're doing is making us fuck tons of money on the back end.
Keep doing it.
So yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, rabbit hole. See, Eric, it just keeps paying.
It's the
off.
gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. See, this is why, dude. I've been like, we
Full
gotta make
lore recap? Oh,
we gotta
I'm
make
due
some
for one of
YouTube.
those.
We gotta make
Wow.
some YouTube videos because look, Chuck Fuck 10 days ago, full lore recap of Adventure Time.
I love it.
264,000 views.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, Eric, when you pulled up the Final Fantasy thing, because like they dropped a trailer for like the second game in the remake for 7 that I watched the other day, and then I just went down my own rabbit hole of like watching the lore recap of like the Final Fantasy games and everything.
I want to play every Final Fantasy game, like in succession.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, have you knocked them out any yet? But
I've really only done 6 actually.
you've never done 7.
Not like for real.
I'm here for you. For
I never
whatever
had
you
a
need
I
on
never
that.
had a PlayStation as a kid, so
They have it for PC.
yeah, I was not a PC guy.
They have it for. No, that's it. That's all they had.
I mean, now it's on like everything,
yeah,
of course,
it's everything.
emulators and stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the 3 discs
right,
that it came on.
right. But one of my plans once I become rich and famous and I have free time is to play all Final Fantasy games in order.
Nice. Yeah, there's a Final Fantasy podcast where they did that. Where they do all Final Fantasy content, but they like played through the games in order and like ranked them and everything. Some dudes out of like Utah, I think.
yeah, we should have this guy knows what he's talking about. Who did that thing? We should
The
have him
lore
on the
recap?
pod. Yeah, I'm looking at their TikTok right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna probably go down that rabbit hole later.
Yeah. What else, Carol? Anything you want to add before we go off?
I love the Cake and Fionna episodes. If you guys haven't explored them, the other ones in the series are really, really good.
Yeah, how many are there?
I think there's 4 in total.
There's like 3 real ones and then like a sort of fake out one.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're good. You get more insight, and every time you get that like Cake and Fionna theme song, and it's different, you're like, here we fucking go.
Perks you up. You're like, ooh, something different.
Oh yeah.
I always thought of it. Don't crucify me, but almost like as like, oh, these don't count, so I'm gonna skip them episodes. You know what
Or
I
like
mean?
Grable's
Wow.
kind of
Grable's vibes.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of those one-offs. Like when I was first watching the show, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like I'm
100%. Yeah.
But
I get
as
you.
you get more invested, it's like way more of a treat.
This
think
episode was the most watched episode of the show up until that point.
Yeah. So
Set
I'm
the record.
off.
I think I've seen this episode and the other ones probably more than any other Adventure Time episodes I've watched before. Definitely.
So, Nick, I think I'm with you on that because I was like, oh, this isn't part of like really the lore episode. Or little did I know it's actually like an incredible, huge part of the lore, like especially for Ice King.
There's even a Grable's episode, I think,
that
of
has
Fionna and Cake.
Fionna
Yeah.
and Cake Grable. Jesus, I gotta
Really?
go back.
I think so. You just get him right at the end, and I think he's even kind of like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Oh wait,
I famously hated the Grables on my first watch through.
Me too.
But now I fucking love them.
oh god, it's incredible.
5 short tables.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. It's
My God.
it's like a cooking episode, right? I think is what it
8th
is.
season, 9th episode. Cooking adventure. Yeah.
Yes. And you just get Graples right at the end, and it's so different because usually he's so put together. He's like,
Yeah.
here's your lesson for this.
Yeah.
But instead he's like, Jesus Christ. And I don't think we even get anything else from him. It just ends after that.
Oh wait, what was the ending of this episode that we were? Oh yeah, it's
Tell me I'm good. Tell me it's good.
it's Finn and Jake are like at an ice thing, and Ice King's reading them the story, and then he's just like, "Tell me it's good." And he's like, "Okay, it's good, it's good, it's good," and that's the end of the episode. Oh, there's always so many good episode enders.
Is that the Always Sunny thing?
Tell me I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. It's good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good.
You're good. It's
Shout
not
out,
that hard.
shout out to Gliz from Stop the Presses who loves that. That's a move. I love it. Mm-hmm. Oh, Glizzy.
Y'all got to get Glizzy on here. She's a big Adventure Time lover.
The only member of Stop the Presses that hasn't at least made a cameo thus far on this podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Gotta
we'll
get
set
her
that
on.
up.
I'm
I
excited
think
for that.
we sort of tricked Jack into like saying a couple words on mic one time. I don't think he's going to actually do
That's how
a
you
real
got to get him.
episode.
Is you got to trick him. Yeah.
It's kind of like a dog in that way.
Gotta cover the mic in peanut butter.
Yeah.
Cover it in Celsius.
Drummer on the new Eric Daino album, Stop the Presses, famously said, what did Jack say? Well, obviously that he'd never come on. Also that he hates the idea of podcasts, I think.
Yeah, or like I hate talking to people or something. He
Yeah,
had some very
he doesn't wanna
negative
hear
opinions.
People talking about shit.
Which is great for podcasting,
He's like, I
as
don't
we
give
found
a
out from our
fuck
negative
what anyone
opinions
thinks
today.
about pop culture. Which, all right, whatever. We still got him on. We won.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I don't know.
One day we're gonna do a live episode, and we have to have Stop the Presses like be the band.
Oh, absolutely. House band.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying like, why don't we just go to Otto's one day and do Adventure Guys and
Otto's would be the perfect venue. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh, for like a nice live pod.
do a live pod? And we were saying like people play, but then like maybe we pod in between or up front or at the end. I don't know exactly how you structure that show.
Sure, yeah.
But then we would get like you should ask Craig. To
Here's
play.
how I think we should do it. Oh, Craig would be great. Okay, so like so let's like get some solo guys to do some stuff, right? Then we have like the Adventure Guys band, which is you, me, and Sean,
yeah.
and whoever else wants to fill in. And like we'll play some songs from Adventure Time.
Yep.
And like do that, I don't know, like 15-minute set or whatever Adventure Time covers. Then we do our podcast with live theme songs.
Yes.
And then Stop the Presses does a headlining set afterwards.
With solo openers.
Yeah.
And then people can join, like we'll join the pod like live as the guests.
Yeah.
Wow.
An audience mic for people to come up and just really lay into the episodes.
Seems like the only way that I think the live pod would actually work. Because before Eric had thrown out the idea that we should just book a tour where we're going to like DIY spots and like punk shows, but like when we show up we just have like the iPad and 2 mics, and then they're like, what are you guys doing today? We're doing a podcast. Like we're second of 4. And just go up on stage and
I mean, we could book this idea as a tour.
You could. I just do think it's funny to just roll up to some show and be like, we're podcasting as the opener.
Absolutely.
That's a really good bit.
I mean, it's like only like one step next to like comedy, like opening up, like or music opening up comedy.
The thing that makes it all really hard is that, like,
We'd have to watch the episode in there too.
yeah, as part of the
Screen
set.
episode. What-
Also,
oh my God, what would
I
the
guess
episodes be?
then
What
you
would
get
you
the
do?
then you get the crowd in on it.
Yeah.
We could do it all. Oh no, we've tried that. We tried that one. I was gonna say doing like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 or whatever. We tried to do that once, right? Didn't we?
Like a watch along and
We
like
did a watch-
commenting on it.
We did
We tried that. I was like, we should
like
try
live
that.
commentary.
We tried to do live commentary, and it was just a lot of silence because we were watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's too good of a show. That's what Mystery Science Theater is so great, is that they're watching these like meh movies and they can fuck around with it. But instead, we were just watching whatever the episode of.
I forgot we did that. That episode was not good. What?
Yeah, no, it was really bad.
Yeah. When was that?
A long time ago. We did it down here.
Yeah.
I think like whatever the TV was like out or something, and I was like, well, let's watch it here, and then comment and.
So yeah, we've experimented with all sorts of formats. Doing the live punk show is the next step, I think.
Oh, I'm 100% down with that. That'd be perfect. I love it. I've gone to a few live pods. It's not a bad time.
Well, what Eric's suggesting would be a real experience.
A total immersion, an Adventure Guys experience.
Yeah. Do they have a projector? Well, I'd rent a projector.
Yeah, just bring your own BY page.
And then, oh my God. So you have like people can play a couple songs, or we can talk about it, and then you screen the app. We do the podcast.
Here's what we would do. We would have like a couple
Working it out.
opener sets, right? Then we do the Adventure Time set, which is the Adventure Guys like doing like Adventure Time songs. To end that set, we would play the theme song of the episode synced up with it on the screen. Like we're doing the
Adventure
intro.
time, come
Then we
on,
all watch the
guys.
episode together.
Going through it very
And then we
distant.
record our app live and then Stop the Press's headlines.
I like that. Well, I was gonna say is like if we got the openers, we could totally do. But I'm almost wondering if like they could play opener, or like during the Adventure Time set we have guests come on and
Yeah, that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this thing has legs, kids.
Now this is better because the idea before of just like getting at a bar and telling all of our friends that just watch us podcast seems less likely to be successful than this idea.
This was always the idea that I had in my mind.
Yeah, I guess I never went too far fleshing it out. That's a good idea, Eric. All right. Well, hey, if you want to see this, email us at didyousee@gmail.com. But I think we'll do it no matter what anyone says.
Yeah.
That's how this podcast started.
We should
Please give us your opinions, but know that they don't matter in the long run.
we really should try and do this in New York. We'll do maybe a one-off, see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then think about a tour.
This seems like a really good December, January, February idea.
Early
Yes.
24. I like
Because I just think
Yes.
it's a good time to go to shows. It'll feel cozy.
Yeah. I'll have some more time then too.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
I like this idea. Thanks for coming and joining us. I like we learned some stuff about each other today.
We really did.
Sorry.
Now,
We're getting spooky soon. Yeah, I feel bad. I kind of talked at everyone for a while, but I guess it's a podcast. You just you talk.
That's what it's all about.
the point of the show.
Yeah, we learned things. Now we're all fucking psyched for Fionna and Cake. We're gonna do the Fionna Cake episodes pretty quickly. Although I think when Lucas is moving out, he's taking his TV with him, so I gotta figure that out. But if you guys want to come back for any of the, because I think what we're gonna try to do is like rip those out quite quickly. Like, so if that comes out on the 31st, like record on the 1st or something.
Yeah, as long as we're here, I'm ready.
I mean,
Yeah, that's that's Labor Day weekend, right?
yeah. Or I don't know. We're gonna. I don't know.
We
where
have
I am.
we have a gig on the Sunday, but before that I'm open. I don't think I have any gigs that weekend.
I think we have
I think
Camp
Brooklyn Bowl is
Yeah, we have
closed.
that Saturday.
That's why.
Yeah.
Nothing on that Friday.
Yeah, no. So we should mess around and do something. You think the fans will like this one, Eric?
Yeah, I think they'll like everything we do.
That's the spirit.
That's
Much like
We
how
got two of the best guests on.
the Fionna and Cake episodes are like a nice little breath. Sometimes you need like a little change of pace.
Well, we
in
needed
your-
guests. And to get both of you on was a real treat. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Come see us play with the Slackers in December.
Oh wait. Sean.
Oh my god.
Sean.
Who are you? Who are you hanging out with?
We're podcasting.
Oh, no fucking way.
Yes,
Dude, we were
fucking
about
right.
right. Eric was about to play the outro theme.
Oh, man. How's it going?
Good. Where are you right now? Niagara Falls?
No, I'm in Toronto.
Okay.
International guest.
First time.
First international guest.
Incredible.
Sean, thank. I'm so honored. What an honor.
Sean's on tour right now,
Hey.
doing front of the
Yeah.
house.
I'm on tour right now doing front of house for K-Flay. We just did a quick little run promoting a record that she's putting out next month. And today's our off day in Toronto. So, yeah.
Nice.
What episode you guys watch?
Fionna and Cake.
Ooh, the first one?
Yep.
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I'm on.
Am I hearing a third voice? Who else is there?
We've got Steve and Karole from Stop the Presses.
Oh, that's awesome. What's up, y'all?
Hey, Sean.
Double gas, triple gas.
Triple guess.
Oh, dude, you called the perfect time. We were talking about the live Adventure Guys experience, which you'd have to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
We have, but Eric,
Make any headway on the planning?
well, Eric just fleshed out the idea. I guess I never really understood what he was proposing,
Okay.
and now I do, and it's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, tell me about it. Give me.
Well, no.
Give me the pitch.
We can't because we just talked about it for a long time on air, and like we've been doing a very bad job of being a quality podcast. So
Okay.
I'm looking out, but we'll catch you up off. We're gonna have live bands openers, and then we're gonna have you're gonna be the Adventure Time band. Actually, Eric, I think you did tell me about that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Adventure Time Band, I was a part of that idea.
You see, Sean remembers. I don't. Yeah. So the three of us would be Adventure Time band. We're gonna have our friends open. We'll watch the episode live, do the podcast, and then Stop the Presses headlines.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So we got to figure out a date. Thinking winter. Also, then you got to get into town. We do have some people donate at anchor.fm/Adventure Guys podcast. I guess we can use the money of that for venue rental or for a flight.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a good way to use.
Yeah. Better than like buying stupid ads
That'd
or
be
some
great.
shit like that.
Yeah, which we thought about.
Yeah.
Somebody donate their flying points to Adventure.
Oh,
Guys.
You got points. We know you got
You
points.
don't need them.
Send them over.
Just send them our way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that.
Sounds great.
Cool, dude.
Very
Well,
cool.
hope tour's good.
Thanks. It's good. I'll talk to y'all later.
We gotta. So this is Sean on again. We gotta keep a tally of all the Sean appearances because there's been a couple of these call-ins
I know, and you
I
always
think
get
this
in
is-
right
this
under
is
the wire.
third or fourth one, right?
that you've called in for.
Yeah, I've called in 3 or 4 times.
I think there was one where I was here, and like at the very beginning, I think he called, and we had like a nice.
Never planned. Never planned.
No, Sean's just like, "What's up?"
We just always happen to be podcasting. There must be like some cosmic confluence
MVP, baby.
that's like drawing all the energy to like the Adventure Time. Like he's there's something in Sean's subconscious that just knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there is soon going to be in the forums of Adventure Time podcast, Adventure Guys podcast lore. There's some room for like Illuminati shenanigans that I'm just trying to keep up my record of being the most appearanced guest.
That's what Will thinks. I think
Yeah.
from the Holophonics.
Oh, I don't think anyone's gonna
'cause Will's
be.
been on a few times too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's gonna catch Sean at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not when he does stuff like this.
No one.
That's what I'm saying.
We're just gonna start calling Eric on Sundays. Just being like, are you guys potting? Are you potting?
You potted?
All right. Well, thanks for calling, Sean.
Y'all have fun.
It's brother.
All right, peace.
He's gone. Just like that.
Unbelievable.
It's great. He
Oh,
always
that's why he was
manages to do that.
FaceTime audio calling me because he's in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Oh, international plan. Yeah.
Smart boy.
So we didn't pick an episode for next week, but let's just do the episode we were supposed to do this week.
You're not gonna
is-
ramp up with Fionna and Cake.
Well, no, but the problem is that we're gonna put this out, then go right into a Fionna and Cake episode.
Oh right. Okay. So
I don't know. Whatever. We'll just.
Yeah. Whatever. Who the fuck knows what we're gonna watch next week? Just listen and figure it out.
Nerds.
Oh. Sean just hit us with a date idea. Well, we'll have to talk about it off air.
That's a busy weekend.
Okay,
boy.
damn. Oh yeah, okay. Well, whatever. We'll
Get it together, Sean.
talk
Don't you
about
know
this.
everyone's schedules?
Yeah. Well, anyway, sincerely, thank you for joining both Steve the dog and Karole Stephen.
I hope it was a good episode.
Tell us it's good.
Yes.
Tell us we're good.
Tell us we're good. And they'll be on again.
Tell us we're good.
Love it.
All right.
Eddie, bye.
Peace out,
See
y'all.
you,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Have a good day.